Welcome back! Last time, we prevented a horrific car incident and we finally obtained a birthday present for Yai. We also got a text message from our dad that apparently there's a party tonight. So we now need to talk to our mom and hopefully get ready for that. Also, we did get a few other emails and I want to really go over them real quick. I got something for you. Drop by the Waterworks anytime. The Density Auto Drive system's been hacked into. War 3 is getting bolder day by day. I heard the operator who solved the problem wasn't a net battler. Hard to imagine a civilian handling such a high-level incident. Who is this mysterious operator anyway? And of course, this is the same one that we got from Dad. So, besides the fact that apparently our actions have now become public knowledge, it seems that Freud has something for us. So before we head to the Waterworks, a couple of things. You may recall that in previous episodes I mentioned that this old man here has a trade. I ignored it because we didn't have all the necessary parts, but now we do. I just love escape more than anything else. What you say? Give me one of each code? F, H, J, L, and N? If you do, I'll give you this Night Sword G for it. So, Night Sword is a very good chip, but losing all 5 escape chips is a bit of a bummer. So I'll do the trade, but off screen I'll go through the chip trader to hopefully get back a couple of escapes. Oh happy day, I'm in heaven. Now I can escape all day long. Here you go. And we got Night Sword G. So, Night Sword G. Fantastic chip. It is of course a sword chip. It deals 150 damage and it is pretty much a long sword but with an even better range, so it will hit up to 3 panels in front of you. Fantastic chip. If you can, make sure that you get Night Sword B because it is part of a program advance that we won't be seeing for quite a while, but it is pretty good. So one other thing, I want to quickly talk to Mail. Lan, thank you for helping me. I gave Yai's present to her. She loved it. If you're going to see her, you better hurry. So yeah, it appears that Yai did like the present, and we really do want to talk to her right now. Lan, thank you for the birthday present. Please, take this as a token of my thanks. And we got 10,000 Zenny. Just like that. I mean, completely unnecessary, but always nice, of course. Alright, so we did say that we would talk to Mom regarding the party. Hey Mom, Dad's invited us to a party. How wonderful. How sweet of him to think of his family at such a busy time. So, Lan, when and where are we supposed to meet? At 7 in front of the TV in the first floor lobby of the Scilab. Okay, but wait! It's almost 7 now, we have to hurry! Mom, since you always take so long, I'll go ahead, okay? Man, if I had to wait for her, I'd never get to eat. Come on, Lan. I know you just can't wait to see your dad. Hey, stop saying that! Jeez. Alright. So, let's actually make our way to the Waterworks, though we won't be attending the party just yet. First, I want to really talk to this NPC right here. I have an X-Panel 3S here. Would you trade me that Hammer H for it? And also, please be my friend? Oh, that's so sad. So, a couple of things. What I said last time regarding Hammer M. It is not actually pointless. It is the second part of a trade chain that we had started as far back as when we traded that Dash G back in school. So yeah, of course, we'll continue with the chain. Really? Wonderful! Here, take this, my new friend. And we got X-Panel 3, it's nothing new, but it's always nice to have an extra. Alright, now let's go to the Waterworks, to the government complex. Some program advance info. While you can advance most programs by collecting chips in a series under one code, like B-Bomb, which is a program advance that we haven't seen yet, some chips like Gaia, which is another chip that we haven't seen yet, won't advance even then. I have some new info that might solve this whole problem. Seems you need one more chip to trigger chip to advance. There's about 4 possible combos worth trying out. So that is a very vague hint to a program advance that requires 3 Gaia chips of different series and another chip. We'll go into more detail about that once we actually collect those chips. So before we head in, there's a couple new things here. I'm going to ignore the new NPC and talk to Sal real quick. Would you like an all-natural lunch? Oh, it's you! So right now we can actually challenge Sal again, and we can do it as many times as we want. So Woodman B3 simply has 100 more HP, and of course he deals more damage and he moves faster. I'm not going to show you that fight, I'll just go over the 2 new chips that we can obtain, which are of course Woodman 2 and Woodman 3. So Woodman 2 of course is the same as Woodman 1, only deals 80 damage, meaning that is 160 damage for electric type chips, viruses, which we will be running into soon, so you may want to consider putting Woodman 2 in your folder. More so for Woodman 3 of course, because it deals 100 damage, meaning that is 200 damage for any wood type, electric type viruses. So yeah, pretty good chips. Now let's talk to this new NPC right here. I'm Masa, the fish dealer. Eat lots of fish, it'll make you smarter. Let me show ya, let's net battle. And of course, he's a new NPC, so he's most likely a net battler, so let's go ahead and fight him. Sharkman, rip him to shreds. Alright. So, Sharkman. Out of the 3 optional net navis, that being Woodman, Skullman, and of course Sharkman, he is by far the toughest, I would say. So as you can see, even though he's underwater and you cannot see the damage value above his head, that doesn't mean that he's immune to damage. So we're doing pretty good because I got a bunch of good chips, but he can get very annoying, trust me. Let's hope that's... Nope. Come on. There we go. Okay, I give. Yep, I'm getting old, I am. Here, take this. Power up that Navi of yours. And nice, we got an HP memory. Now off with you, and watch out for sharks in the net. So he's not quite ready to give us the Sharkman 1 chip, but we can also jack in the display right here. So let's do that real quick. So there are no new enemies in Masa's page, it's just a bunch of old Aqua type viruses, so I'm going to be skipping any random encounters. So of course we got Masa's access code. And there's something rather odd about this mystery data. We already cannot access it, even though there should have been at least one other mystery data aside from the access code to Masa's homepage. But yeah, that's all that we can do here, so let's jack out. Alright, so up next what I want to do is I want to go talk to Freud real quick, because if you recall from that email, he has something for us. Thanks for coming by. When I was taken by the World 3, I was given this. Freud shows a World 3 pin to land. I I was told to use it to do whatever was needed to complete the operation. If you think it will help you, please take it. And we finally got the World 3 pin. One other thing before we address the pin. I'm really sorry about the other day. From now on, if something happens, okay, this is the same line of dialogue he says every time before we challenge him. So similar to Sal, we can now challenge Dr. Freud as many times as necessary, meaning that of course we can get Iceman 2 and Iceman 3. So Iceman 2, it's the same as Iceman 1, but it deals 80 points of damage, meaning that it can deal 160 to any fire-type viruses, very useful. Iceman 3 is slightly stronger, it deals 100 points of damage, meaning that that is an easy 200 points of damage to any fire-type viruses. So yeah, pretty useful chips. Alright, so now that we got the World 3 pin, I want to go back to Internets 1 through 4 and get the blue mystery datas behind those doors. We're going to do this a bit out of order, because the closest one from here would be Internet 3. I believe the door is right here. And we have Fighter Sword B. So this is a very important chip. It is the inferior version of Knight Sword. It has the exact same range, but it deals 100 damage. It's still very good. And the code is B, which is the one that we need for that program advance. So I highly recommend that you get it. Alright, so the barrier in Internet 2 is a bit far from here, so I'm going to head back to ACDC Town. So it would be faster to go to Internet 2 through Dex's homepage, but I want to take this opportunity to also open the barrier in Internet 1. Of course, since we're dealing with areas that we've explored before, I will be skipping any random encounters. And we finally have access to Trilance M. So, as you may have guessed, it is the upgraded version of Tri-Spear. It shoots, of course, 3 spears that each deal 60 damage. And it is very fast. Fantastic chip. I highly recommend that you get it once we reach an area where you can farm it from the Trilance virus. Alright, let's move on to Internet 2 as quickly as possible. And we finally have that power-up. Alright, so the only area that's really left is Internet 4. However, I want to actually access that through Miyu's base, because I do want to talk to Miyu again. So let's make our way to Dentown. So before we head to Block 2 to talk to Miyu, there is something that I do want to mention as soon as the lights change. So, this little girl right here, she has a trade for us. We don't quite have the materials yet, so I'm not going to talk to her. Just wanted to bring that to your attention, because in that trade, she has some interesting requests, to say the least. So I'll leave it at that for now. That Navi you have, its spirit shines far brighter than that of any other. Far brighter than that of any other I've seen. The light, it's almost like... So we can actually challenge her. I didn't show the fights against Woodman and Iceman, so I might as well show this one. And there we go. And of course, because it was the first rematch, regardless of our rank, we will get a Navi chip, though we did get an S rank. Your spirits have beaten me again. So, Skullman. Very interesting chip, as you probably see on screen. It deals a ton of damage. It is one of the strongest... The Skullman line of chips is among the strongest Navi chips in Battle Network 1. The thing is, it only targets one enemy at a time, so it's not useful for multiple deletions. It basically drops Skullman's skull on top of an enemy and it deals massive damage. Pretty good. Alright, so let's make our way to Internet 4. So real quick, before I get the blue mystery data, that area there where it says W, we can't go there quite yet. It will be more important later. Also, in a total dig move, they put the blue mystery data right below the in that section of the of Internet 4, meaning that it is completely invisible if you don't know where it is exactly. But anyways, we got an HP memory. So let's head back to the government complex, because there is one more thing that I do want to show you. There is one more area of the internet that I want to show you right now. So if you recall the first time that we explored Internet 3, I mentioned how if you go through this spot right here, it will take you to another area of the internet that I advise against going at that point. I would say that we are ready to go now, so let's go ahead and explore it real quick. So this upcoming area can be labeled in two ways, one of which is a bit of a spoiler, so I'll just refer it to as Internet 9. We do, of course, have a couple of new enemies here, as well as some returning ones. So, after we're done with this fight, I will be skipping any random encounter that is now with a new enemy. Also, this is a green mystery data, even though it's blue, meaning that this is another spot in which you can get Cannon E. Okay, there we go. So, the other enemy is just the Wood Tower virus. We'll take care of him soon enough. But we have a new enemy here. It is one of the Aura enemies, and they are very, very annoying. I'll deal with him once I take out the... there we go. So, as you can see, he has an aura around him, and there's a value beneath it. The way auras work is that they will negate any damage that isn't equal or higher to that amount. In this case, any attack lower than 10 will be negated. Of course, 10 damage is nothing at this point, so we can destroy it very easily. One other thing, you may have seen how that enemy was attacking, by launching its head at you. The head and the neck are both hitboxes, meaning that you can attack either and the enemy will take damage. Of course, we didn't get the chip, I wasn't expecting to. So, I want to go over that chip real quick. So, Aqua Aura. It works the same as it does for the enemy. It gives you an aura that will negate any damage that is below 10. Meaning that it's absolutely useless, because even the weakest of enemies... In fact, it doesn't work. I tried it. I went against a Cannon virus with my own armor equipped, and Aura 10, and the basic attack from the Cannon virus destroyed it. So Aqua Aura by its own, it's absolutely useless. However, one of the codes that you can get from it is R, and that is very important for a program advance. A program advance of which we have just unlocked, or we would have if I had obtained Aqua Aura R. Which is very tough to obtain, by the way, because you need to do a rank of 10 or higher. I'll show you how I did it right now. Basically, some chips, such as Dino Wave, that move so fast, when used against enemies that also move around real quickly in a straight line, can sometimes deal damage multiple times. So if you time it right, you can kill them with a single Dino Wave. But anyways, on to that program advance. It is called Lifesaver. It requires Aqua Aura R, Barrier R, and Roll R. If I messed up the order, I'll just show the correct order on screen. It is a very interesting program advance because it doesn't deal any damage at all. What it does is, Roll appears on the screen, she will fully restore all your HP, and she gives you a special barrier that negates all damage for 30 seconds, so around 3 turns. So, it is a fantastic program advance. I probably won't be using it, but that's one way in which the Aqua Aura virus is useful. Outside of that, it is a very annoying enemy. The World 3 server is not around here. If that's what you're looking for, you should go back. Okay. So, I believe there's a mystery data right here. Yeah, and it's actually a new chip as well. So Rings Up 1, it is of course an electric type chip. It basically creates, it creates like a ring of electricity around you that does one full, goes around you once. It deals a decent amount of damage, the range is not the best, but it's okay. Okay, so we have one of the other two new viruses. I want to see if I can get rid of Aqua Aura real quick. Let's see if I can actually do what I was talking about. Yeah, did you see that? Right, so I want to pause real quick. That enemy right here, he has a very interesting attack, and you're about to see why. Also, you may notice that he's completely grayed out, and normal attacks, such as the Buster Shot or even chips, will only deal 1 damage. So once he changes color, that's when he's actually vulnerable, but also when he's about to attack. So pay attention. I'm not going to take him out right away because I want to show you something. So as you saw, he slammed his hammer and he created a shockwave that covered all 3 columns. And it seems unavoidable, right? And it deals 200 damage. Also, the reason that it deals 200 damage is because off screen in the previous fight, in the previous episode when fighting Colorman, I think it was when I was collecting some chips off screen, but I had removed my armor. So right now we don't have any armor. But even with the armor, 100 damage is still pretty scary. So I'm going to wait until he shows up, because that attack of his can actually be avoided, and I'll show you how. If you move at the exact moment when the shockwave is about to reach you, you can avoid it. So it's not completely unavoidable. Of course, since I took forever, I wasn't expecting on getting that chip. But let's go over the chip nonetheless. So that hammer enemy actually drops two new chips. The first is called Gaia, in this case Gaia 1, which is the one that we were talking about earlier. It works the same as the enemy attack. You slam a hammer and you create a shockwave that seems unavoidable. It does go through enemies, which is a plus, but keep in mind that some enemies that move around real fast may end up avoiding it just in the same way that we did. Also, this is that hammer chip that I mentioned way back in episode 2 when I said that there was a hammer chip that is much better than hammer. Also, the other chip that the Gaia virus drops is called Iron Body. It is rather interesting. When you activate it, Mega Man turns grey, the same as the Gaia virus. You cannot move from the spot where you activated it, and you take significantly less damage. So attacks that would deal like 100 may deal like 20 or 30 damage. And you can use chips while that effect is in play, so it is interesting, of course. Now, let's actually equip the armor. Wood armor should be fine. Okay, good. That's the other enemy that I was hoping to show you. Let's see if we can take them both at the same time. Perfect. Will I end up getting Aqua Ora now? No. So, Removit 2. As you probably guessed, it is a stronger version of Removit 1. It deals more damage, and I think it may move around faster. If it doesn't, I'll just issue a quick correction on screen. Right, so before you move any further, you may want to save, and you're about to see why. Here we have a rematch against Colorman. Rather soon, but I'm not complaining. So this is the main reason why I wanted to wait until we had actually defeated Colorman in the main story before exploring Internet 9. And we're going to miss all 3? Yep, we did. That's okay. Even a bit stronger Colorman is still rather easy, so we should be fine. As soon as I can get some Quake chips. There we go. Perfect. Okay. We didn't do too bad, but because it was the first rematch, we're getting Colorman 1. Right, and now that we defeated Colorman, he is now available as a random encounter in Internet 9, meaning that we can get all 3 versions of that chip. So Colorman 1. The way that it functions is that he summons his two little statues, and he will shoot a fire tower and an aqua tower, each in a straight line. As far as I can tell, you cannot make them move up or down, so any enemies in the middle row are safe from any harm. Colorman 2, of course, deals a bit more damage, and well, the same applies for Colorman 3. But yeah, with that we are pretty much done with Internet 9, so let's jack out. Sorry to interrupt, but we're actually not quite done with Internet 9. There's something that I forgot to mention, and that is that one of the chips that you can get as a Green Mystery Data is actually Spreader L, which is the final code for Spreader, meaning that with all 5 codes we now have access to Omega Spread. It of course requires all 5 in alphabetical order, and it will allow you to spam the Spreader chip for 10 seconds and you are completely immune to any and all damage during that. It's pretty good, it's not bad. Anyways, now we are done with Internet 9. Alright, so we talked to a few old NPCs, we got a couple of new Navi chips, and we also got the World 3 pin. I think that's more than enough for party preparations. Next time we'll head to the lobby in the Scilab area and hopefully enjoy a nice, uneventful party. Thank you for watching.